this video, I'm going to show you what's really happening in the Central Arkansas housing market right now and how to make smart moves in 2026, whether you're buying, selling, or just trying to time your next move. This is the same strategy I've used to help dozens of families relocate to Central Arkansas, win homes in competitive neighborhoods, and avoid overpaying when the market starts shifting. Now, we're going to break down where prices are actually softening, which cities and neighborhoods are heating up, and what today's buyers and sellers need to do differently compared to last year. If you want to make a confident decision, protect your money, and put yourself in the best position for the next move, this video is for you. All right, now here's why this video really matters. Because what you're hearing on the news, what your cousin said at Thanksgiving, and what TikTok is screaming about the housing market does not match what I'm actually seeing on the ground here in Central Arkansas. And that disconnect, that's where people end up overpaying, waiting too long, or selling at the wrong time. So let's start with the real situation. First off, the market isn't crashing, but it's not 2021 either. The first thing I want to clear up, we're not in a housing crash here in Central Arkansas, but we're also not in that crazy seller's market where homes sell one weekend with 15 offers. What we're in right now is what I'd call a market reset. Buyers are more cautious, sellers are more emotional about price, and the homes that are priced right, they're still moving. Homes that are overpriced, they're sitting and sitting and sitting. And this is happening across Little Rock, Bryant, Benton, Cabot, Conway, all of it. So the market isn't broken, it's just way less forgiving than it used to be. Here's what's different going into 2026. Number one, buyers are payment sensitive now. It's not just about the price of the home, it's about the monthly payment, the insurance, taxes, and sometimes HOA fees. So even if prices aren't dropping dramatically, affordability is still a big deal. Number two, inventory is more uneven. Some neighborhoods still feel tight. Others suddenly have multiple homes sitting in the same subdivision. So you can't just say Central Arkansas is hot or the market is slow. It depends on the exact city, the exact neighborhood, and the exact price point. And that's why blanket advice online just doesn't work anymore. Let me talk about buyers for a second. The biggest mistake that I'm seeing, people waiting for some massive price crash that may never come, while interest rates, insurance, and rents keep creeping up. So what happens is they wait, prices stay mostly stable, and now they're competing again in the same neighborhoods they could have bought in 6 months ago. Now on the flip side, some buyers are still overbidding emotionally in areas that no longer require it. And that's how you end up paying more than you needed to in a market that's actually giving you negotiating power again. So timing the market perfectly is almost impossible. But positioning yourself smart, that's what the real advantage is right now. Now let's talk to homeowners and potential sellers. This is the hard truth. Your neighbor's sale from 2 years ago is no longer the benchmark. I'm seeing a lot of listings right now that start too high, sit for 30 to 60 days, and then end up doing price reductions, sometimes multiple. And what that does, it creates a perception problem. Buyers start asking, yo, what's wrong with this house? And why has it been sitting? Are they desperate? When in reality, it's just price for a market that doesn't exist anymore. And that's where sellers lose leverage they didn't need to lose. So in 2026, pricing strategy and presentation matters way more than they did during the frenzy years. Another huge factor right now is new construction. We have a lot of new neighborhoods popping up and around Benton and Bryant, Cabot, Conway, and even pockets outside of Little Rock. And builders are doing things existing homes can't always compete with. Closing cost incentives, rate buy downs, design upgrades, brand new everything. So if you're selling a resale home and you're priced close to new constructions, buyers start asking, why wouldn't I just buy new? Which means resale homes now have to be priced right, updated right, marketed right, or they get skipped. And for buyers, new construction can be an opportunity, but it can also come with delays, HOA surprises, and location trade-offs that people don't always think about. And real quick, if you're finding this helpful so far, hit the like button so YouTube knows this is actually useful info and not just another hype video. And if you're thinking about moving to or within Central Arkansas, make sure you're subscribed because I drop local market updates and neighborhood breakdowns every week. All right, now here's the part most people aren't talking about. Going into 2026, the people who win in this market are not the ones trying to predict headlines. or chasing viral market crash videos. It's the people who understand which cities are still appreciating steadily, where builders are adding supply, and where demand is quietly staying strong because of schools, communities, and lifestyle. And that's exactly what we're getting into next, because not all central Arkansas cities are moving the same way right now. Some are becoming relocation magnets, some are stabilizing, and some are way more affordable than people realize. So in part 2, I'm going to break down which central Arkansas cities are gaining momentum into 2026 and which ones you really need to think twice about depending on your goals. We'll talk Little Rock, Bryant, Benton, Cabot, Conway, and where you actually get the best value right now. Let's get into it. All right, so now that you understand what's happening with the overall market, let's talk about where people are actually moving within central Arkansas, because this part really matters. And I say this all the time. You're not just buying a house, you're buying a commute, a school zone, a lifestyle, and resale future. So let's break down the main areas I get asked about the most. Let's start with Little Rock. Little Rock is still the same hub for medical professionals, government state jobs, downtown workers, and people who want character, culture, and a shorter commute. Now, what makes Little Rock unique is the range of neighborhoods. You've got historic areas like Hillcrest and the Heights, mid-century neighborhoods in Midtown, newer developments in West Little Rock, and Shannon. Now, here's the opportunity in Little Rock right now. Some pockets are seeing more price sensitivity, which means buyers are able to negotiate again, especially on homes that need cosmetic updates. But the trade-off is smaller lots, older homes, and sometimes higher renovation costs. So Little Rock is great for buyers who want location and charm, but it's not always the best fit for people wanting brand new homes and big yards. Now let's talk about Bryant and Benton, because these two are huge right now. This is where a lot of families are going when they want newer homes, larger subdivisions, strong school districts, and more house for the money. Bryant in particular has exploded with master plan communities, new shopping, and easy access to I-30 for commuters. Benton is similar, but usually a little more affordable depending on the area. The big advantage here is new construction options. But here's what buyers need to know. You might get a new home, but you're also further from downtown, dealing with HOA rules, and sometimes long construction timelines. So Bryant and Benton are amazing for families who prioritize space in schools, but not always ideal for people who want walkability or nightlife. Now, Cabot is another area that surprises people. It's especially popular with military families, people working toward Jacksonville or the Air Force Base, and buyers looking for affordability with decent school options. You typically get larger homes, bigger yards, and lower price points than some west side suburbs. Now the trade-off is the commute. If you work in Little Rock, you need to be realistic about drive time, traffic on I-40, and how that fits into your daily routine. But for buyers who are okay with that, Cabot can be a great value play. Now, Conway is a totally different vibe between UCA, Hendrix, and Central Baptist. Conway always has built-in housing demand. It's popular with young professionals, investors, and families who like that similar city feel with restaurants and growth. What's interesting about Conway is that even when markets slow down, it tends to stay more stable because of the constant student and staff population. Now, you'll also see a mix of new subdivisions, townhomes, and established neighborhoods. So Conway is great for buyers thinking long-term appreciation and resale flexibility. And then you've got Hot Springs, which is in its own category. Hot Springs attracts retirees, second home buyers, short-term rental investors, and people who want lake and mountain lifestyle. You've got Lake Hamilton, Lake Catherine, and tons of outdoor recreation. But the market there can be more seasonal and more price sensitive depending on the property type. So Hot Springs can be amazing for lifestyle moves, vacation homes, or retirement planning. But it's not always ideal for commuters working in Little Rock every day. Now, let's talk about some of the smaller towns people overlook. Now, places like Greenbrier, Alexander, Shannon Hill, parts of Jacksonville, these areas are growing quietly because people want lower prices, more land, and less congestion. Now, what's happening is that many buyers are choosing these areas to build custom homes, buy on acreage, or outstretch their budget further. The trade-off here is usually longer drives, fewer nearby restaurants and shopping, and sometimes fewer resale comps. But For the right buyer, these areas can be a huge opportunity zone. And real quick, if you're getting value from this breakdown, drop a comment and tell me which city you're curious about the most. Now, I read those and it helps me to know which neighborhoods in town to cover next in future videos. Now, here's where this really gets important, because choosing the right city is only half the battle. How you buy or sell in this market in 2026 matters just as much as where you do it. So in the next part, I'm gonna break down what buyers and sellers must start doing differently in 2026 if they actually want to win this market. We'll talk negotiation strategies, pricing traps, and how to use the current market to your advantage instead of fighting it. Let's get into that next. All right, now that you understand where opportunities are across Central Arkansas, let's talk about how to actually win this market in 2026, because the strategies that worked a few years ago don't always work anymore. And whether you're buying, selling, or just planning your next move, this part is huge. First, let's talk to buyers. Here's the biggest shift happening right now. You finally have negotiating power again, but only if you use it correctly. Instead of just throwing out the highest number, smart buyers are focusing on seller paid closing costs, rate buy downs, inspection repairs, and flexible closing timeline. And especially with new construction, builders are often more willing to negotiate than people realize, even if the price doesn't change much on paper. Now, what matters is your total cost to close and your monthly payment, not just the sticker price. Another huge strategy shift for buyers in 2026. You need to be laser focused on micro markets, not just cities. Two homes 5 minutes apart can behave completely different depending on school zones, neighborhood reputation, and how many similar homes are currently listed nearby. So blanket advice like wait or buy now is way too simple. The real question is the home you want in a part of the market that's actually softening or still competitive? Now, for sellers, and this part is critical, in 2026, your first 2 weeks on the market are everything. Now, that's when you get the most online views, the most showing activity, and the most serious buyers. If you miss that window by pricing too high, it's very hard to recover from it later, because buyers start thinking, what's wrong with this house? Why hasn't it sold yet? And then instead of getting strong offers, you're chasing the market down with price reduction. So the winning strategy right now is price for today's market, not last year's comps, and make your home show as well as possible from day one. That might mean minor repairs, fresh paint, professional photos and video, but those things can be the difference between selling fast or sitting for months. Now, let's circle back to new construction, because this is where a lot of buyers get excited and sometimes surprised. Yes, builders are offering closing cost incentives, rate incentives, and design upgrade. But here's what people don't always think about: HOA fees, smaller lot sizes, construction delays, and sometimes less flexibility on inspection. So new construction can absolutely be a great move, but it needs to be evaluated just as carefully as resale home. And here's a big tip for buyers: never assume the builder's sales rep is representing your interests. They work for the builder. Now, that doesn't mean they're bad people. It just means you need someone on your side who can explain the contracts, timelines, and options clearly. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest mindset traps that I see. People say, I'm going to wait until rates drop. I'm going to wait until prices fall, or I'm going to wait until the market feels safer. And I totally get it. That feels logical. But here's the reality. When conditions improve, competition usually comes right back with it. So instead of trying to time the market perfectly, the better question is, can I buy or sell in a way that still makes sense for my life and finances right now? Because housing decisions are not just investment decisions, they're lifestyle decisions. Schools, commute, family needs, job changes, it all matters too. If you made it this far in this video, you're clearly serious about making smart moves, and I respect that. So do me a quick favor, hit the like button and drop a comment with the city or neighborhood you're considering. It helps the channel and it helps me create videos that are actually useful to you. And if you're planning a move to Central Arkansas, or even just thinking about it, and you want honest local guidance instead of generic internet advice, you can reach out using contact info in the description. I help people compare cities, neighborhoods, and price points every week, and I'm always happy to point you in the right direction, even if you're still in the early stages. No pressure, just real answers. So whether you're buying, selling, or relocating, 2026 is not a bad time to make a move in Central Arkansas, but it is a time when strategy matters more than ever. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.